Hey everyone. We'll let we will let the everybody kind of show up. It snowed today. I wasn't gonna work today. I had today and tomorrow scheduled to be off, but I was able to be with the family, so it was all right. You know, we opened presents this morning. Kids were up at 6. I tried to be up at 6, didn't quite make it. Said like 6:45, I think, is when I got up. But they patiently waited for me to wake up. That was nice. But I had today was going to be a day off, and I was going to have. Let's see. Well, jeez. And I was going to take tomorrow off too. But when there's a lot of weather going on, my son just said, "Of course I was up at 6." But when there's a lot of wicked weather going on, I can't stay away. I would have been working from home the whole time. So, what are you gonna do? What is this? It says the stream's current bit rate is lower than the recommended bit rate. What? Why? What do I have running? I don't have a lot running. Anyway, so I'll take a couple other days off. I'll take Wednesday, Thursday off this week instead. We got football on ABC tonight, so I probably will try to limit my cut-ins. I've been doing some cut-ins, trying to let everybody know what's happening. And as you can see, there's a lot of snow basically from Grand Island west. O'Neill, Grand Island, draw that line west. Lethal Blue, good to see you. And that's where the heavy snow is at, and that's where it's going to stay. Now, I've got a few things here. I don't think I put the wind. You know what? I'm going to do this. Okay. That way I can setting things up, making sure everybody knows what's going on, make sure I know what's going on. I want to make sure I have the wind one in here. I've got a lot to show you though. I've got snowfall potential, I've got snowfall totals, which we can talk about that real quick. Let me see. Here they are. Like Norfolk saw 5.5. Near 4 miles southeast of Lincoln, 3.5. Ashland saw 2.5. Cortland, 3.1. Near Valley, 2.5. 3 miles east northeast of Lincoln, 3.8. Half an inch near Gretna, about an inch near Boys Town. Let's see, I'm going the wrong way here. 6 inches, 4 miles northwest of Lincoln. Wilbur in Saline County had 3.5. Claytonia and Gage County had 3.5. 3.5 in Columbus. I did see more though. I saw an 8-inch report just northwest of Columbus. 5 miles south of Lincoln, 3.5. Bellwood, that's in Butler County, 3.5. 5 inches in Hallam, how about that? Eagle, you had 2.5. Malcolm had 3.5. Ralston had 1.5. Fremont, 1.5. Near Dwight in Butler County, 4 inches. 1.8 in Ceresco. Millard, 1.9. Just northeast of Lincoln had 4. Another one for Gretna at 1.6. Verdigris, Knox County, that is, where is Knox County? Yeah, northeast, kind of that dip where it just starts to curve. Very northeastern corner. Knox County had 7.5. Seward had 5. 2.5 in Bennington. 2 inches off at Air Force Base. Omaha had 2.8. Roca had 4.5, 4.1, another one in Roca. So, I mean, that's solid. That's some good snowfall totals. Okay, I was doing something here. Now, don't mind me. I'm gonna look for a particular graphic I want to show you. I don't think I have it in here. Of course I don't. So, there we go. This is one I want. Okay. So there's the wind. Now, this is how much additional snowfall. It looks like this is updating too. Boy, I picked a really bad time to do this. Everything seems to be updating. But this is a snowfall potential for the city of Lincoln through Tuesday. And it looks like less than an inch for each model, but for some reason they don't look right. So we'll move on past that. Now, wind gusts, this is a big deal right here. Now, I'm going to kind of adjust this a little bit. This is through noon Tuesday. So this is what the wind gusts look like at 8 p.m. tonight, 9 p.m. See how the western half of the state is anywhere from 30 to almost 40 miles per hour? That's part of the problem with this, with this storm. And that continues. This is 6 a.m. Tuesday morning, still 30 to 40 miles per hour, and that lasts all the way through Tuesday afternoon. Then it eventually, by Tuesday night, starts to die off a little bit. So that's a long time. I mean, that's a solid 24 hours from now for that wind to be blowing 30 to 40 miles per hour. And unfortunately, there's also going to be this wind through tonight. This is 1 a.m. Tuesday morning. This is Tuesday 6 a.m. Still more snow coming. 6 p.m. Tuesday starts to lessen up a little bit, but comes back Tuesday night. So it doesn't look like it's going to be a whole lot of snow the second half of the day on Tuesday, but it does look like the wind will continue. So what snow we get will be blown around, especially for the western half of the state. Eastern half of the state, Lincoln, Grand Island, Columbus, Omaha, Beatrice, will luck out a little bit. So here's some snowfall potentials. Let's see, Lethal says, so we luck out on the second round. It circled around us and mostly dodges us. If by us you mean Lincoln, yeah, I mean it's the higher amounts will be in western Nebraska, lesser amounts in eastern Nebraska. But we're not out of the woods yet. I mean, from York, Columbus, Norfolk, Yankton, Hebron, east, less than an inch. And this is just model number one. We'll go through a bunch of different models. Western half of the state, 4 or 5 more inches. This is additional snowfall, not total snowfall. This is additional snowfall. Notice Chadron at 12.2. Model number 2, kind of the same thing. Higher amounts in the northwestern corner of the state. Western half of the state, you're looking at 3 or 4 or 5 more inches. Less than an inch for the eastern corner of the state. And then in the middle, 1, 2, maybe 3 more inches. So you notice how all of the models are kind of on the same page so far, similar to this model number 3. Eastern quarter of the state, less than an inch. 1 inch in Lincoln. I mean, we're not out of the woods yet. Central Nebraska, 3 to 5 or 6. And then up towards Chadron. For some reason, Chadron has a bullseye on its head. But the western half of the state, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches, with a little more in northwestern Nebraska. Similar to model number 4, eastern half of the state, less, western half of the state, more, and then much more once you get towards South Dakota. Anybody else win their fantasy football today? I did. Championships next week. Sorry, I heard football in the background and got thinking about that. Model number 5, these are your short range. This is less amount of time, but finer details when I say short range. So this only goes out like 2.5 days, but it's very detailed and it takes all of the information. Long range ones kind of gloss over the details, but it goes further out. So that's your difference. Eastern Nebraska, inch or less. Central Nebraska, 2 to 3 inches, and higher numbers towards Chadron and Gordon. I mean, it's amazing. All of these models are basically agreeing with each other. So when that happens, you get on board. You're like, yep, every single model is saying basically the same thing. Last model, short range, same thing. I mean, this is uncanny. That's what I'm saying, 15 inches of snow in Chadron. 9 inches, 0.9 inches for Lincoln, 1 inch for York, almost 2 inches in Hastings. So western half of the state, basically 3 to 6, eastern half of the state, 1 to 3. And that's additional snowfall. I love it when people say, like, Chadron can keep it. Like Cameron says, what does that mean? Like, they're gonna keep it? I don't know, it's just one of those weird things I hear all the time, and I've never quite understood what people like. They can keep it, like it's nobody else, they don't want it. I think that's what they mean. So this is my forecast for additional snowfall. Trace to 1 to trace to 2 inches for the eastern half, 2 to 4 for central, 4 to 8 for a good portion of western Nebraska, and then Chadron up to 12 inches of snow. So what's going on here? Well, this is the bright red, orangish red, is the blizzard warning. So I'm going to click on a couple of different things here. Maybe. Come on, computer. There we go. So that area that just highlighted, that goes until Wednesday morning. That area. This area right here, Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning for that Dual and Garden County. Dawes County and everything else, 5 a.m. Wednesday. And then this winter storm warning goes until 6 a.m. Wednesday. And then winter weather advisory, Tuesday night, Tuesday afternoon. So basically through Tuesday at least for everybody. Eastern Nebraska though, Lincoln, Beatrice, Omaha, Fremont, Columbus on the border, not in anything right now, but not out of the woods yet. Could see cold, wind, and not as much wind as western Nebraska, but and some light snow, maybe an inch more. So that's what's going on there. So this is where we're at. There's all your snow. I'm going to zoom out. Look how big this thing is. Look at this storm. This is incredible. What do I want to do here? Right here. Goes like this. Zips around. Right there. Look, I mean, that is incredible. Look how big that is. It's like a reverse sideways 6. And the low pressure, let me see, let me do this. I don't have it.
To make everybody happy, I'm doing
Live on YouTube, just letting you know. What would you like? I could be an hour or two. What do you need?
Grand Island. Is it safe to say we're pouring about 2 to 3 inches with more than that?
Grand Island. Hang on. Got a question about Grand Island. Let me look it up here. More on the way is not safe to say, because Grand Island could be done for a while. All right. Trying to maneuver Slack here. National Weather Service went over to this Slack. Grand Island, I have 1 inch of snow.
at the at the Grand Island Airport. 1 inch of snow reported at 6 p.m. Hang on. Storm total is 2.5 inches.
Thank you.
Yes. That just popped right up. That was lucky. 3.4 in Hastings. 6 inches in Central City. There you go. See you later.
Thank you.
Yep. So I guess while we're doing this, Cozad had 5.5 inches. Let's see what else I can find for everybody. See, the National Weather Service used to do this National Weather Service chat, and it was just a beautiful thing. I mean, used it for years and it was great. Then they decided to go over to Slack, and I understand it, but it's really hard to find information now. 4.5 inches and 2 miles east-northeast of Hastings. Let's see, that's Kansas. Pauline in Adams County, 4.5 inches. Near York, 1 mile north of York, 4 inches. Clay Center, 3.5. Ord, 3. Fillmore, 4. Lots of drifts. Red Cloud in Webster County, 3 inches. Grand Island Airport, looks like 3.5. Hastings, okay. All right, so those are getting old. So there you go. That's that. Everybody is saying Shattern can keep it. You know, I used to live in Shattern, and I have friends in Shattern, and they're probably mad at you guys right now. But anyway, look at this storm. I mean, it's just huge. Now, I did this earlier. What is wrong with you? So this is your stormcast for wind, in case you missed it earlier. This is part of the problem. So this goes from 6 p.m. from now until, let's see, from 8 p.m. there's 1 a.m., 5:30 a.m., 6 a.m. Notice the wind. Western half of the state, it doesn't let up. It's gusting up to 40 miles per hour, maybe more, all night and all day. This is 6 a.m. There's 11 a.m. It's still up there at 20 to 40 miles per hour. And then by the afternoon, it starts to let up finally, but still 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts in some spots. So it's tough. So, oh geez, hit enter, great. So you couple the fact that we're going to see a lot of wind and snow the entire time. Now it's going to be really light and then heavy, and then really light and then heavy. So because of that, blowing and drifting is going to be an issue. See how it's not constant, but it doesn't go away. This is noon on Tuesday, and we got a little bit of a break there for an hour or two, then the snow comes right back, and then a little bit of a break by 6 p.m. Snow comes back, a little bit of a break, then the snow can't come back quite as much, but still some flurries lingering into even early Wednesday afternoon. So, that's tough. All right. I'm just trying to find some stuff here. Shattern's been, you know, speaking of Shattern, they got hit hard last year. Or was it last season? There was one day, and my dad lives out there, my grandma lives out there, and they had it was a one-day total of 24 inches. I think it was the most they've ever seen. So, and that was last season. So now this season, they're just in the right spot. It happens where, you know, you get some of that that downsloping wind from off the Rockies, and then cold air coming off of the Black Hills, and bam, and the warm, moist air coming up from from the south. It's just Chadron's a good spot sometimes, and that spot will move depending on the jet stream and everything else. Okay, model number 1. We'll go through the snowfall total potentials here one more time. Let's see. Okay, so here's the model numbers. Again, all of these are going to look, I'm going to go through 6 of them. And the eastern half of the state will be generally an inch or less. Central Nebraska will be 2 to 3 inches, 1 to 3 inches. Then the western half of the state will generally be from 4 to 8 inches of snow, and Chadron will get hit every single time with every single model. That's model number 1, 12 inches for Chadron. I think this is one of the lower ones for Chadron. Yeah, 8.3. But again, it's the same as the last model, where it's less for eastern Nebraska, more for western Nebraska. Model number 3, same thing. Model number 4, see that swoosh? That's the low pressure spinning right over the top of us. Same thing for model number 5. I think this last model is the one that really hits Chadron fairly hard. Yeah, it goes almost 15 inches of snow. It's nice getting some snow though. I agree, Cameron, it really is. I'm just glad we had snow on Christmas. Yeah, I mean, just, it was, you know, if you didn't have to go anywhere, and you didn't have to drive anywhere, all was good in the world, really was. White Christmas, it was snowing when I woke up this morning, kids were happy, my daughter went out and made a snowman. I mean, it was cool. It was really a great day. This is my projected additional snowfall. So for tonight, tomorrow, and into very early Wednesday morning, basically a trace to 1 or 2 inches for eastern Nebraska, central Nebraska, and southwest Nebraska about 2 to 4. And then that 4 to 8 inches for much of central and western Nebraska, and then Chadron and surrounding areas may get a little more. Every model says it, so who am I to say? We'll see if they. I'm interested to know if they actually get it. I'm going to call my dad tomorrow night. Say, hey, did it snow? And he'll be like, you're the weather guy, shouldn't you know? I'll go, touche. All right, well, this is a little different than the severe weather ones I usually do, because with the severe weather ones, I'm able to talk about stuff. Right now, this is why I couldn't do hurricane coverage. I get bored very easily. I mean, it's just, snowstorms are slow and stupid, kind of like hurricanes. You know, they're just, it's the same thing over and over. I mean, yeah, there's, I guess, tornado warnings and stuff like that with hurricanes. But with snow, it's, nothing happens. But if you go out in it, it's bad. I mean, you're looking at all this snow in western Nebraska and all of that wind. So if you live in western Nebraska, hey, okay, let me see if I can find something here real quick. ROADS. There we go. We'll see if this comes up. It didn't. Yep, there we go. Okay. So here's your road conditions as of just before 7:30. So you notice western Nebraska, the Panhandle isn't bad. And then all the blue, that's partially covered. That means like you get, you know, a patch of snow every now and then. It's drivable, but you know, you could hit a slick spot. Up here towards O'Neill, that's where your travel not advised. That's one of the it's not impassable, but it's just like, just don't do it. The pink that's covered, so that's basically, you're not gonna see any cement or asphalt. That's a good portion of northeast Nebraska, in and around Grand Island. Zooming in, these are all highways. These are not like side streets and in-city streets. Got this one just north of, going through Seward, Highway 77. This one over here, just west of Lincoln. I'm not sure what road that is. And when you go to Denton, that one. So you got several okay roads in southeast Nebraska, but once you start to get where it's been snowing for a good long time, it's either partially, totally covered, or travel not advised. This snow won't melt for a while, right? Probably not. Looking at the forecast, we've got temperatures in the middle 30s for several days in a row, so that is not conducive to snow melting. Central Nebraska probably won't see it gone for a long time. Southeast Nebraska, though, from Omaha, Lincoln, south, we only saw 3 or 4 inches of snow, so a couple of weeks, probably, maybe a week and a half, depends on how much, because, I mean, it all eventually melts off, especially if we see some sunshine. But we're not done yet. We may see another inch or so through the day tomorrow. So we might hang on to this snow for a little bit. That's the one bad thing about snow. I know I love snow. I really do. It's one of my favorite parts of weather. But I'd rather it melt off all at once, because it keeps things cold. I can't stand the cold. I hate the cold. Like I was just thinking about it today. It took me about 10 to 15 minutes just to get ready to go outside. But when it's warm out, I just go outside. I don't have, I mean, you don't have to prepare yourself to go outside when it's warm out. But when it's cold, and even if it's not, like if it's not bitterly cold, I mean, you have your extreme heat, yeah, that's awful. You don't want to go outside when it's 100 degrees with 60-degree dew points. And you don't want to go outside when it's 10 below with 40-degree below zero wind chills. But even when it's just like today, it was in the upper 20s. That's not brutally cold, but you still have to prepare for a long time just to be comfortable outside. When it's a little warm, you don't have to prepare for hours just to go outside. But I know it's 50-50. Everybody there's probably half of you right now going, yeah, and then the other half are like, what's he talking about? It's weird. I'll put a poll out there on social media, and half of the people love it when it's overly warm, and half the people love it when it's overly cold, or they prefer it. It's split. It's like politics. So anyway, I've probably been rambling on for enough time. I just wanted to kind of let everybody know what was going on. It's 7:30. Football is on ABC, so we're going on late. I've done a couple of cut-ins. Probably won't do any more now. It's just in the western half of the state. But if you have travel plans the next day or two, make sure you go to that Nebraska Department of Transportation website. They know what's going on. So, all right, thanks everybody, and subscribe if you can. That would be awesome. And I think that's it. All right. Bye.